Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Here we go. We are back. It is the Monday KVJ After the Show podcast. What's going on, everybody? Yeah. Do we got everybody in makeup? I think am I the last one, Virginia?
You are.
Okay.
You're the diva with no beaver.
Okay.
I'm the diva with too much beaver.
She's been trying to share it.
So CVS starts selling the men's makeup, which they said they're going to. You're just going to go full on drag. It's going to be your approach to it.
Not subtle over here. I let her have the lipstick and put it on herself.
Okay.
And she didn't just put it on her lips. She started putting it all over her cheeks. And she's like, it's rouge. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're bright red now. Now you look like a tomato.
I never did well with subtle. Never. It was never
Not
my
your thing.
No, never my forte.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be here if I was subtle.
It'll be interesting to see where they go with it. Why is it that they got to have special makeup for men?
I think the thing for guys is they want it to be smoothing and concealing, unlike your
okay.
friend Jason.
Yeah.
Who? It's Roxette, bitch.
Oh, you got another female? It's not Lana?
Lana and Roxette totally
Lana's
have
a blonde.
69 before.
Roxette is a fiery redhead, Kevin.
Yes, and I know what you're wondering. It does match the carpet.
Oh,
The drapes.
Okay, so you took the time to dye your pubes.
I wish.
That's nice.
That's commitment.
Prove it.
Been staying
Prove
busy.
it. Prove it.
I kind of feel like I'm a college girl, like a good college girl, just waiting to be bad with this sweater on. You know what I mean?
I do. It's your first time away from home.
Yes.
You've been under daddy's thumb.
Oh, yeah.
But now you're your own woman,
And I want a different kind of daddy.
and you just
Whoa.
want a lot of D.
Oh, yeah. Drink a couple wine coolers, real fucking horny.
Okay. I noticed all your female alter egos are whores. We don't have like an attorney or...
You need to watch your mouth. I'm a slut, not a whore. Whore gets paid. I do it for the love.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go for what I think it's intended. I'm going to go for the subtle look. Can it actually pick up a guy's looks a little bit? And would it be something that guys would actually start doing? I'm not talking about it would be, anybody. Any just regular red-blooded American male.
For smoothing, contouring,
Yeah.
and just making your overall face look better, but not necessarily look made up.
If I had an event, a social function, I would consider it.
Okay.
If I'd be like, okay, if there'd be a couple of things I could do here. Again, it would have to look natural. It wouldn't be like, oh, he's wearing makeup. It would be like,
Natural, I think, is the key.
yeah.
But you guys got to be careful. You don't want... If you're going to do natural, it's got to be kind of subtle, like it's there, but it's not there. It's a fine line. Little eyeliner.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It is a tough.
It's
road
hard to take
walk,
her
yeah.
serious because she's got lipstick on her teeth.
Yeah.
I wonder how that got there.
Too much S in that D.
Yes.
Yes, my nickname in college was Roadhead.
Roadhead.
All right, I got reel it in. I'm getting too much into Roxette.
It's going to be tough to keep it straight from Lana.
Did you take your picture yet? Your after picture?
Oh,
okay.
I did.
You did. Okay, good.
Going to get the vote on social media here in a bit on which dude on the KVJ show would be best suited to actually start wearing makeup. This is something that CBS is selling.
So if you get voted for the worst, that means you're not suited for that makeup.
Just saying, yeah, because I think that some guys will be better suited to it than others. It'll just be like, you know what, that's Good for you. You should actually be wearing makeup.
I'm not trying to sound like a diva bitch over here, but Mama did not bring the right bronzer for me.
She's dark. She is a brown little biscuit, and I just don't have dark girl makeup. I'm white as they come.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I gave you the darkest I had, and then I bronzed you up.
It's so weird because if I really was Roxette, we would have different approaches to makeup. Girl, your shit is tired.
Not bright enough, huh?
That shit is tired.
Okay.
She wanted it to be so dramatic. I don't even have half the tools she needs.
Yeah.
She wants fake eyelashes.
Okay.
I don't have all that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Glitter.
It is. Yeah,
I gave her some glitter. It wasn't enough.
Who would honestly make the best cam girl? Honestly, out of all the dudes on this show.
You.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Without a doubt.
No, I think I would.
No way. Oh, I would love to get the cam girl off with you.
The gauntlet's been thrown.
I would love to have a cam. Then I would bring out Lana, and you would be destroyed because she's gonna do it all
Lana would eat you for lunch
Okay.
and love it.
and love it. Asking for seconds.
She starts with your ass.
You let me know if you want to do a cam girl challenge.
Okay. All right. KVJ Cam Girl Challenge. Got to call him out here. It says, I want to call out my husband's inconsiderate coworker who still came into work after he had 102 fever the night before.
What?
His careless behavior exposed my poor husband and others, and now my husband is spending his pre-planned vacation time this week getting tested for COVID and isolating from me and our kids. You suck, dude.
Oh.
That's a definite call him out there.
Yes.
If you know you have a fever and you go to work, you're not impressing anybody with your work ethic, you dick.
Yeah, that
You're now
is
a dick
not
now.
cool.
You're a dick.
Yeah, that is not cool. In fact, I was surprised to see that there was a stat that I'd seen. I think it was 1 in 14 people, according to the survey, said that even if they were symptomatic, they would still go to work.
Really?
Yeah. And it's just like, why would you? I mean, come on, you got to know.
If someone's in a situation where they don't go to work and they're in competition with somebody else and they take their job, on a human level, I can see why someone would probably do that.
The main reasons they cited here is that they'd feel guilty having somebody else do their work. They feel like they have too much to do to miss a day, and they want to be seen as a hard worker. Yeah, I'm sorry, you can't. I mean, to me, in my approach on this, and I've spent a good bit of time just trying to read it, and I've been trying to keep an open mind through this whole thing and reading both sides of every argument. And whatever it is, the coronavirus, I'm glad to see that the death rate has gone down in the U.S., but it is still a very contagious disease. And for many people, it is still a really bad disease for them to get. And earlier in the show, I read that whole thing that what they had done at FAU where they tested out different face coverings, and it is stopping, the spread of it, the droplets. Uncovered, you go 8 to 13 feet. Covered with a stitched quilted fabric mask, 2.5 inches. Trust me, I was a guy who was germ conscious before all this, so I always spent a lot of time reading a lot about germs. I don't like people's germs. It's really not even a coronavirus thing for me. After kind of reading that, I'm like going, let's do this all the time. Honestly, I don't want people's germs. It's gross. So, yeah, I just, so if you're 1 in the 14, just don't. Because it is. I mean, look at his situation now. Because that is the one thing, even if you are younger and you get it, not a threat to life or hospitalization even, it's still something where to do it right, you got to quarantine yourself for 14 days. Screw that, man.
And now you got your coworkers having to quarantine themselves away from their families. Like, just because you had to come to work, you set off this chain of events in other people's families now.
And if you don't quarantine, then you're, going to wind up giving it to more people who's going to give it to that one person that just can't handle it.
What's the temperature where you're like, oh, shit, I got to stay home? Is it 103 or 104?
No, it's 100.4.
100.4.
I feel like we've had this conversation.
We've had this conversation
like 25 times.
18 frickin' times with this chick.
It's all changing, baby. It's all changing.
No,
it's been
pretty
consistent the entire time.
I'm just saying the overall vibe of everything's changed. Oh, fuck this. I thought we weren't about shaming.
It's a good thing you're cute.
Thank you.
I got an email here from Corey. She said, Jaybird, I love your Mass song. You got to make it a separate link in YouTube. Here's the one that my son made last week as well.
There's a separate link in YouTube.
Oh, okay. All right, so something they can
it did good on Facebook. It's doing shitty on YouTube. What the fuck, YouTube? I'm talking to you, chat room.
What is up with that? Let me see. I don't know why the audio's not playing here.
Oh man. I want to hear the kids'
I do too.
version of their Mask song.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here is, I think this is a little bit of it here. Okay, hold on. Yeah, it doesn't play.
What?
Oh, I feel like a...
Is that supposed to be playing there?
It is. Danny, your makeup is looking good, kid.
Yeah, I went subtle with the big D.
That look right?
Yeah, it all looks good.
Okay, all right.
I kind of like that nickname for him, Big D. I don't hate it.
It's not a bad moniker as a man to carry around town. Oh my gosh, here comes Big D.
It's a lot of pressure. There's a lot.
All right, well, sorry about
But
that,
he's
Corey.
married, so he's
Thank you
good.
for sending that in. Unfortunately, we got something going on with the equipment. It's not playing.
At least it wasn't a big deal.
Eh, I'm sure it was to the kid.
That's
It's
what I
not
mean.
the most
Tried.
talked about thing right now in pop
That's what I mean. I
culture.
feel bad for the kid. It's a big move for him to have something on the radio.
Let me see here. Liz, she had sent an email, said you guys have been discussing the reopening of schools and the parents and the pediatricians who are advocating for students to go back. The reasoning seems to be that children are less likely to become seriously ill. I am happy to know that this is the case, but people seem to be forgetting or they just don't care that children aren't the only people on campus. It feels like we've quickly lost that deep appreciation we had for teachers during the early weeks of quarantine. I'm a relatively young teacher, and the thought of being confined to a classroom with approximately 150 high schoolers a day is terrifying. I teach 16 to 18-year-olds who have lives and many work customer service jobs. Between each class, I watch thousands of students push through crowded hallways. These students are not going to properly adhere to CDC recommendations or wear masks all day. Grown-ass adults won't even wear them.
Yeah, good luck getting teens to follow the rules. It is an all-out war in my house. Teens don't care. They just don't see it.
Well, because they've heard, they know it's up to. They're like, oh, if we get sick, it's just going to be like the flu. It's
Or we'll be asymptomatic. Like, we might not even feel anything.
So, I mean, you were a kid before. It's a long time ago. I get it.
Yeah.
You got balls.
Oh, honey, this coochie is a very pristine.
You're in the older group club, too.
Roxette is not.
It says some teachers who have no choice will return and hope that there isn't an outbreak at their school, but teachers who are already debating leaving the profession or retiring won't risk it. As a result, teachers who stay on will be forced to take on additional class periods. I truly hope this would all be over by now. I did not enjoy virtual teaching. I miss interacting with my students and my colleagues, but I do not want to put myself and my partner at risk. He still hasn't forgiven me for the vicious stomach bug I brought home in 2018. Yet again, the public is reminding us that we are not educators. We are not value professionals. We are just free childcare.
You can't really get mad at somebody for giving you a bug accidentally.
People do, though. If people get somebody sick, yeah.
That's some shit.
People, I know. People get all upset. So that's kind of how people feel. And somebody sent me an article, too. It's, crazy as you not only talk about schools and they're trying to figure out what to do. And they're, just about a month away from when school's supposed to start?
Yeah, I know.
Barring any new announcements, the 10th of August.
Palm Beach County is trying to figure it out. Martin County's having a big meeting tomorrow to try to figure it out.
Is August 10th a little earlier than normal?
I think it's supposed to be August 11th.
That seems early, but I don't have kids.
It does seem early, doesn't it?
I felt like you guys at least went back in the 20s, August 20-something. But I think I'm still on 1991 schedule in my head.
Can we just say, we're not going to start anything till September if we do? Can we push it back a month?
Yeah, I don't know.
August is coming in too hot.
By the way, that's another divisive topic. Bring the kids to school. No, don't bring them to school. Fuck you. Bring them to school. They got to learn. And people are fighting about that, whether they should go back or not. That'll be the next thing.
Well, I won't even let my kid go to 7-Eleven. So I'm not really set yet to send him back to school.
Mm-hmm.
What great branding by 7-Eleven. You say 7-Eleven, I instantly want a Slurpee.
Yeah, I saw somebody had sent the article that Georgia Tech, where my son is going to be heading off to school, I think it's 2/3, if I remember. I don't have the article in front of me, but I think it was 2/3 of the teachers or professors there are saying, we ain't coming back.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm kind of hanging in. Been in this holding pattern for a while because we got to get him to Atlanta for that. So I'm trying to figure out on the move.
What if school doesn't start? If 2/3 of the teachers won't start, then...
That just sparks. I'm trying to let you guys know. Be like, hey, I got to take my kid to Atlanta, but I don't know when or if. That's when or if is the question.
Oh, you're talking about to me in Virginia for vacation stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to let Virginia know. I'm like, I am in such a holding. I don't even know.
I thought about that this morning. I'm like, as soon as Kevin knows, then I think I'm gonna go back to the Keys.
Okay.
Because I was very safe. I felt good in the Keys. I had a hotel that was exterior doors. I never had to go inside anywhere. It was all outside. I liked that.
So you didn't see the article about the COVID octopus in the Keys?
No.
Okay. Good.
Covidopus?
It's a Covidopus.
Covidopus.
Just kidding. Please don't get all mad at me. I'm kidding. There's no COVID octopus.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people are probably kind of in that holding pattern as to, not only just high school and elementary, but college as well.
Yeah, Rocco was supposed to start kindergarten in the fall. How do you homeschool kindergarten?
Just get a bunch of crayons and shit. Let them eat some paste. That's what I did.
It's crazy. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I try to cling to the positive, but yeah, I mean, So,
well, you cling to the positive about the health part, but the stuff that, just the actual country and getting the economy back and having the schedule get back to normal, that's where it's figgity fucked, man.
Yeah, there's still that issue. And just because, it seems like it is spreading, I guess that's the question. And maybe they'll start doing that as rating the cases, where they can say how many of them are severe of this level, how many of them are of that level, and they may say that if we can get the severe cases under 5% or something like that, then they're like, okay, then we'll just swing the door wide open again and realize, okay, people might get it, but they're getting what would be tantamount to a regular cold.
I started thinking over the weekend, because it's all I really do is sit and think.
That's good.
Yeah, it's real good. Drink, think. It's not good. So,
oh my God.
I was like, are we just delaying the inevitable? Are all of us going to get it anyway?
That's the other fight.
And then it's just going to be, you thinned out the herd. All the immune compromised people and all the older people died off, and the people that lived were the younger, stronger.
I did read something about that viruses, the longer they are around, tend to weaken. Because it's a virus that actually kind of attacks itself.
That's
good. And so as it's spreading, I think part of it is that medically, I think that our medical professionals in America are doing an amazing job.
And
to see what they're doing. And they're learning, and they're smart, and they're just, hats off to them. But I think part of it is in just 2 or 3 different articles I read. And so I usually don't start kind of believing something until I see about 3 articles saying the same thing, that over time it might be weakening. So if you can kind of delay it and do your thing right now and not get it, then maybe eventually you do get the coronavirus, but at that point, it's just another version of a cold or something like that. Or you may be like, that was a walk in the park. That wasn't anything.
I want the weak corones.
Yeah. So that's, to me, my strategy right now is like, okay, maybe that's the case. Hey, I may get it down the line, but I hope whatever version of it I get, maybe it's just nothing at all.
It's the whole clogging up the system of just how we live our lives, I think, is really starting. That's the other side of all that. Other than COVID being this disease or whatever the hell it is, all this other shit, I've said it before, we're lucky because we get to go to work. Some people still aren't going to work, and they're getting all fucking crazy on social media, posting this about that, getting mad about this.
It's tough. I think you just got to, and there's a lot of stuff that you see, you read, and immediately you're like, and you just gotta like take a deep breath, step away from it, and give it a second, think about it.
A KVJ Nationer reached out to me on Instagram, and she was telling me how she took a 30-day or a month off of social media and said she loved it and didn't miss it nearly as much as she thought, and kind of just got her thoughts back together. And I can see that. Stay off social media if it's bringing you down.
Absolutely.
Or even watching the news if it's bringing you down.
Yeah, I hear there's a lot of divisive stuff out there, and you can get, sucked into it.
Or if you're going to go on there, play one of those fun games. I'm seeing a lot of riddles on there. If 3 rabbits have 3 ears and 1 twat, how many twats are there? Like all the weird kind of little, you've seen them. Not that maybe example.
Rabbit twat? I missed the rabbit twat
but
one.
But there's a bunch of fun things like that you could do.
Yes.
Got an email here from somebody who'd like to remain anonymous. Said, listen for a long time. Love you guys. My boyfriend of many years is great. He gives unconditional love, handy around the house, and we've helped each other grow over the years. He has everything anybody could ask for, but I've never pushed him for a ring. Does that mean that he's not Mr. Right, or does it mean marriage isn't a priority to me? We're basically a married couple without the paperwork. If he dropped to his knee right this moment, I don't know if I could confidently say I do. Mm-hmm.
It feels like you guys have maybe been together so long, you're past that. And that's not to say that you're not, perfect and awesome for each other. I think you're doing it smart. Ride the wave till the wave fizzles out.
It's different times, man. I mean, marriage was such a thing back in the day. And I'm not poo-pooing on marriage. I think it's awesome if you guys are married and in love and you guys have, you guys enjoy each other. I just know a lot of people who don't.
It doesn't seem necessary. And I know if you're super religious and it's one thing to want to be going down that path.
You're right.
It. But if you're not super religious,
and you
why?
like to keep all your money.
Why? Why would you do it other than maybe you're trying to get somebody's money?
Guy or girl.
Guy or girl. It can go either way. I mean, it just feels like
but I also can
archaic.
I also can see meeting what you think is your soulmate and someone you would die for and go, I'm making the ultimate commitment to you. If we're going to have a ceremony, I can see that happening too.
You can have all that without doing it.
But I can see people really want to making the grand gesture of, I want to get married. I want the world to know that legally you are mine and I'm yours. I get that too.
Well, there's a couple.
Sort of.
To help you decide, there were a couple interesting things that I saw on marriage, and arguing for, they said that there were maybe 4 main reasons to get married, including like financial benefits, like saving money on taxes and insurance is one. They say the other is for health benefits. They have noticed that people who were married tend to live longer and are less likely to have a heart attack or stroke. And they say, yeah, a boyfriend, girlfriend could still do that, but there's kind of an assurance of, okay, we have made a real commitment. That we have both made the oath, and legally, financially, all these kind of things, we're bound to each other, and having that security apparently weighs on people better, and it reduces your chances for the strokes and the other things.
It's the legal part is what it is. I mean, you do have that backup. Mm-hmm. If your boyfriend, girlfriend, in the back of your mind, anytime he gets on your nerves or she gets on your nerves, I can fucking leave anytime I want to. I just know that. I can leave.
I know where the bag is. I can pack it in 10 minutes.
If you're married, you're like, fuck, I can't leave.
I got to work this out.
Damn it. We wouldn't even like each other.
And here are some weird things that I saw that can predict if you'll divorce. And maybe before you even get married, you could say, okay, do we need to do that? Because it makes this a higher risk for divorce. If you spend over $20,000 on your wedding, you're more likely to divorce.
That kind of makes sense to me.
That's a weird stat.
Because someone in the relationship's high maintenance.
Yeah. They say if you make under $25,000 per year, you're very likely to divorce based on the stats. They say going to church on a regular basis increases your chance of staying together.
I can see that as well. You're building a bond with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, if you, at least I know in my religion, it's very much about staying together and making a bond and all that stuff.
I can see if you're with somebody with the same religion and you both are into it, how you guys are very well suited for one another.
Well, the religion itself is always about, realizing that problems will arise, but then, how you handle it in the religion is to help deal with those problems.
Look, if everyone in the relationship is like that, has each other's back, and doesn't get on anyone, and, I think that's great.
They say that if one partner smokes, your marriage is 75% more likely to end. Wow.
If one of the people.
One.
Yeah, I can see that. If you don't like smoke, if you hate smoke and you're married to a smoker.
Living in a blue state decreases your chance of divorce. Okay. Democrats are actually less likely to divorce than their Republican counterparts. Considering how family values the Republican stance is, it's pretty ironic. People are surprised to hear that. Now, we live in a blue county in a red state.
That does not sound right to me, that stat, at all.
It does not. That's why I guess maybe it makes the weird list, which you wouldn't expect. I would not expect that either. They say getting a college degree will make you 13% less likely to divorce. Children of divorce are also 40% more likely to divorce.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
I can see that. I'm going to say I can see that after every one of Kevin's factoids.
I can see that.
I can see that.
I can see that too.
They say if this is your second marriage, you have a 63% chance of divorcing.
Because you're probably like, you know what? I've already been through the war. I've already been through the battle. I can fucking do this again. You can't break me.
If I divorce once, it's easy to do it twice.
Couldn't you see that?
I guess everybody's going to be different.
Well, you're not surprised, at least. I think the first time you're probably like, wait, what? You're taking half of my tires?
Yeah, now at least you know, okay, here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think that almost prepares you to deal with that better.
Maybe.
And they say if you marry during the ages of 18 to 25, you're likely to divorce. However, if your first marriage happened after the age of 35, chances are extremely high that you will end up staying together.
The young thing makes sense to me because, you're young. Oh, you're hot. I love you too. 3 years later, Jake comes running around.
You get it out of your system. If you do it later and you have your fun when you're young and then you marry later, I can see that.
Marriage later, that to me, I feel like everyone's got a better head on their shoulders at that point.
And not everybody, sure, there's going to be exceptions. But I think if you look at the big numbers, yeah. If you got married when you were under 25 and you still had some wild party left in you, and you tried to pretend and hold yourself down and pretend to be happily married and not want to be in the club.
See, I could see 18 to 25 in a red state staying together more than 18 to 25 in a blue state.
Yeah, where I'm from, it's red, and they get married a little bit younger.
High school sweethearts. Yeah, have a family.
Yeah, there's divorce where I was from, but it felt like it was less.
I feel like everyone down here is divorced or on the verge.
At least 3 times.
On the verge.
I'm not even kidding you, man.
Corona's pushing some people over the edge.
But even before Corona, I think we lived in a divorced state.
Ashley from Vero had sent this in. Didn't know where you wound up with Mags and the punishment. I guess she hadn't heard that part of it. But she said, when I was a teenager, my parents moved past the spankings and they chose hard labor as punishments. I was never officially grounded or had anything taken away. However, I'd be given a task, and until I completed that task, I was not allowed out of the house. I once lied about where I was like Mags, and they found out. I then had to dig out an old fish pond in our backyard. 10-foot circle that was about 4 feet deep in the middle of summer.
I absolutely love that kind of punishment.
There you go.
Well, because it's a productive punishment.
Right, and then at the end of it, you have a cool-ass fish pond.
Exactly. That's how you do it, man. I love that.
Mm-hmm. I do that to her sometimes, where I'll have her, wash the car.
On laundry.
laundry she'll have to do. I also had her have to untangle all these Christmas lights. She was pissed.
That I could see getting that teenager anger for that one right
These
there.
lights were a nightmare. I had put them on the floor and I tried to untangle them, and I got so upset I had to walk away after about an hour and a half. I got nowhere, and then I got mad at her and I was like, all right, you got to untangle those lights.
So what would happen if Mag's like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it, Mom. Well, what do you do when your kids, when you try to give a punishment and then they're like basically saying, go pound sand?
You're not leaving then. You're not doing anything until you do the task I gave you. Mags hasn't bowed up like that yet.
What would the Kevin Ralston do if all of a sudden Cannon, you try to punish him? He's like, I'm not doing it, Dad. He's sassing you and he just did not do it. Do you have a plan for that?
Yeah. I'd punch him.
Super fist comes out.
Throat punch Ralston.
That would be so tough to deal with, especially if you really love your kid and you're cool with your kid.
There are kids like this. Mags was telling me about this one kid in her circle, and he was, being disobedient to the parents, and the parents were telling him one thing, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And they were like, you can't leave, you can't go, to the beach. He wanted to go to the beach. And so he went up to his room and went out the window and went to the beach. And he was at the beach all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, what do you do in that case? Because I would want to be a hard ass at that point. Mm-hmm. If you're blatantly not following the rules and you're already in trouble, you would have to figure out a way of you not doing this shit, right? If you're underage?
I think some of these kids get kicked out of their house.
Yeah, it depends upon where you are. I mean, I would, hope. I think our strategy, we try not to escalate things, to a level where I kind of had that with my mom, where it's like, all right, you're going to do this, so I'm going to do that, and she'd be like, well, I'm going to do this, and then we would get to a crazy level of escalation. I think with our kids, for the most part, we always try to do cool, fun things with them, and then it would just be like going, hey, it makes us less likely to do this kind of stuff for you. You've got a pretty good life. We do good things. We give you a lot of freedom. Why would you treat us this way? Why would you act this way? And luckily, we haven't had any problems with our kids. Cannon just turned 12, and so he's going to get in that wonky age. So who knows what's going to happen? I may have to readjust my style, but so far the style's worked out, and our kids haven't been assholes.
Yeah, and that's good because they haven't been assholes. I'm wondering when the kid's an asshole, won't stop being an asshole and doesn't listen to you at all. Yeah, and you're trying to be a good parent.
Because you're lucky, there are some kids that are just assholes. And the parents could be sweet and trying to do the right thing and trying to parent them. And the one kid that his parents told him he couldn't go to the beach, so he went out this window.
Yeah, and I wouldn't think I would get fuck this, what's going on? I wouldn't get that mad, but I would think that the punishment, whenever that kid comes back, we got to figure out a way how to make sure this kid's not doing that again. Yeah. I think you can punish him without going crazy.
Well, we try to have, for the most part, discussions and saying, okay, let's sit down and talk about this. Tell me why you think you need to do this, and I'll tell you why I think this is a bad idea and why I think it's risky. And, sometimes one side wins the other over, and, other times we're just like, yeah, we don't feel like that's the right move for you.
My buddy's got a 13-year-old boy, and they are super close, but for the first time, he'd say in the last 6 months, he said that his boy is kind of wanting to break away from him, doesn't want to spend that much time with him, doesn't want to play catch with him anymore. And my buddy is legit hurt by it. He said he took it really hard, trying not to show it, but that's gotta bum you out when you really legit love hanging out with your kid and they don't want to hang out with you. That's gotta hurt.
You just gotta enjoy it because there is a certain time with that. We watched 2 movies with Cannon over the break, and I was like, this is great because he's 12, probably in a year or 2 years from now, it's going to be past where he can sit down and watch Despicable Me 3 or something like that. And
yeah.
Oh yeah, Mags is in it right now. She is so upset because for the past couple of days she's been home with us.
And you feel her kind of breaking away a little bit?
Well, she was before, but now she's kind of on lockdown, and she's kind of accepted her lockdown for a few more days.
Her freedom was making her, and that's what happens. You want to be out with your friends and doing shit. I get it. But as a parent, I can see that being...
Her freedom had her too free. And that's the thing. I brought her to the beach, and she was meeting her friend at the beach, and they were going to hang out at the beach for the day, and then I was going to come back and get her from the beach. Well, she left the beach and went back to somebody's house. And the more I started thinking about it, the more I'm like, no, you can't do that. You're breaking the rules. You're now expanding your circle to these kids' parents that I don't even know, and one of them's a first responder, and then that had me all freaked out.
Her friend's a first responder?
Her friend's parent.
Why'd that freak you out? Oh, because I got you. Yeah, because they're around COVID. Got you.
Yeah, I mean, there were unfortunately a lot of first responders.
Our
police.
first responders are on it a lot more?
Yes.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay.
They are, unfortunately, way more exposed.
Because a lot of people take themselves to the hospital if they have COVID, right?
Yeah, but a lot...
They're exposed to a lot of people, too.
Yeah, they are exposed to a lot of COVID.
Okay. Well, that's tough stuff.
It is.
Ain't easy being a parent.
It's
It
interesting
is
to hear
not.
about. 'Cause I remember 13, 14. That's probably when I started becoming a little asshole, talking back a little too much.
Well, I had her last night, and we had family. We watched America's Funniest Videos together, and we were all sitting on the sofa together, all curled up in blankets and like kind of hugging each other, and it was just nice because I know that if she hadn't been kind of quasi grounded right now for a few days because of the reckless behavior, I wouldn't be getting these moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine being a parent looking at your kid in wonderment a lot of times. Go, I can't believe that's my kid. If they, because I do that with my dog Chewy. I can only imagine a fucking kid.
I can't believe like Magnolia is my kid because she's so like grown up. She's taller than me.
Yeah.
She's like she's like a grown up with a still kind of a childlike way of looking at the world. But like I look over at her and she's driving and learning to like drive.
That's
and I'm
gonna
like,
blow your mind.
What the fuck?
Yeah, as a
Crazy,
parent, to
yeah.
see that little thing grow up to do that shit.
And now it wants to go out and just be gone and wants to like do all these things away from me. And I'm like, no,
Yeah. Losing your baby girl is what happens, Virginia.
I don't like it.
Stacy from the Acreage sent an email, said, I've noticed that no one says, oh my God, on the ATS and the regular show. You guys always say gosh instead. Is that a thing? Like y'all aren't allowed to say God because it may offend people? I've noticed that on TV too. For me, everybody, may be different. For me, that's... And I'm not big hung up on language, but, because of the religious thing that I try not to... say it. That'll be the one where if I, other words I can say F-bombs or S-bombs or whatever. I'm like, I don't think much about that. But yeah, it's it's just because of the religion thing. They talk about taking the Lord's name in vain. And my mom was big on that. My mom would lose her marbles. And that's about the only thing. And my kids will say words that I don't love it, but they do. The only time I will say something is if they, use the JC or the GD or something like that. I'm like, hey, I don't like that. Don't do that.
It was weird because my household growing up, there was swearing a lot, but the Lord's name in vain was something you could not say. I said it one time as a kid because I heard it in a movie. I didn't know what it was, and I said it out loud to my mom and dad, and just the reaction on it, I was like, oh, I shouldn't say that again.
Yeah. Well, and
Shit.
That was cool. I can
Right.
say that.
Yeah, those words don't bother me as much as that. And the only thing about saying it, yeah, you can, there's a lot of stuff that you can say, and sometimes you just, I know, like, if somebody had said that, there would be like a show. I remember one time, and they were kind of like throwing around, because you aren't, but you could tell they didn't have any boundaries. They're throwing the JC around. She's like, that is never coming on our radio ever again. And they were done, and I could not. They were on the banned list. And so knowing that, I don't think that people are set that, especially here. If you're in the Bible Belt, yeah, if you threw that out, especially if you're on a country show in the Bible Belt
You're
and you
done.
did a GD or a JC, you've just lost 3/4 or 90% of your audience.
The Lord's
and they
name
would not come back.
The Lord's name in vain was a big reason why I had to go to therapy as a kid, because I found out you're not supposed to say the Lord's name in vain. And then somebody at our church said, well, if you ever hear somebody say the Lord's name in vain, just ask for forgiveness for them. And every time I would hear it, I would say this prayer, please forgive them for. It got to the point where I was so obsessed with it. If I was watching a movie and I knew they were about to say the Lord's name in vain, I was already praying.
You hit pause.
Oh my God, no! It would go on. I would be praying the whole time, and I got so obsessed with it, it started making me sick a little bit. And
my
it was
goodness.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm
my
real
goodness.
fucked up.
Yeah. You wouldn't know by looking at you.
One day we'll find the bodies.
No, I'm too soft to be a murderer. Are you kidding me? I'd fall apart.
This little programming note, some out there. Somebody said, Jaybird, don't know if you've watched the Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, episode 5. It's about alien abductions.
Okay, so here's my take on Unsolved Mysteries. A huge fan of the original series. They used to do in an hour episode 4 or 5 little stories in there. They're now only focusing on one. It's an hour long. I watched the first episode. It was about an unsolved murder. I thought they could have cut it out. I feel like it was way too long.
Is this the one with the dude that was missing for several days, and then they found him?
He fell in the hole.
Fell in the hole in the roof.
I thought it was way too long and dragged out, and I thought
the same thing. I watched a little bit of it because I like those.
I do too.
But they are not Dateline, and they don't do a good job.
I completely felt that way about the murder one. Now, the UFO one, if you're into that shit, highly recommend it because it's a story I have never heard of, and it's a fascinating story because if this really happened, what the shit is going on? Basically, in one state, people were being abducted, going in a UFO, and then they were coming to back at their little hometown, and they had no idea what had happened. And some people remember seeing other people up there in the ship with them.
What?
Yeah, it's a crazy story. I'm leaving out a lot of details. I don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah.
That one's less than an hour. It's about 40 minutes, so that one's worth it.
Yeah, I saw they put that in a prominent position on Netflix.
They did.
It was number 1 for over the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, they were trying to say, like, oh, this is the most popular.
Trending.
Yeah.
Netflix trending.
That stuff does work.
I think, and I wonder if that is a tactic on Netflix where they say, let's have this be the top trending because people are going to want to go to that.
And ironically, it's all Netflix original produced material.
Exactly. They know what they're doing. It's like when you see any of these sites, they want whatever their agenda is, that's going to be what's trending on there. We could do a KVJ trending.
We see you, Netflix.
Yeah.
I thought I saw something today where they might get rid of the continue watching section on your Netflix. Do you like that?
I love it.
Do you?
But it also can lead to depression because you're like, well, I'll watch one more episode.
Yeah, I tried to watch that. The Floor is Lava. Stupid. I tried to watch several things with Rocco.
Yeah, it seemed like it was done. Yeah.
That
If
did
I
seem stupid.
stop watching something, it's for a good reason. It was dumb. I don't want to continue watching it.
I have a lot of stuff I just couldn't get through.
Yeah,
But then there's other stuff too, like when I was in Queen of the South, I finished that, but that was in continue watching, and I wanted to continue watching that.
I was going to try Outer Banks, and I had 3 separate people tell me don't do it, Bird.
What?
Yeah.
Who?
Jim Romano, Bigfoot, being one of them, and the other 2 I'm not going to say. Keeping my sources.
Maybe Jim's too old.
He said that. He goes, it's a fucking teenage show.
It's good,
It's
though.
a tween show.
It is, yeah.
You'll like it for the same reason you like Goonies.
Okay, you're comparing it to Goonies. You
It's
got a lot
an
of balls.
adventure. It's an adventure, but it's a modernized adventure.
Did you see any of it, Kev?
Yeah, I did. I watched the whole thing.
Is it a Goonies?
It was Goonies-esque, but it's a long ride. I enjoyed it, but you know.
All right.
We both enjoyed it. What the fuck's your problem?
I'm still reeling on the David Spade movie, Kevin.
Yeah, I got no credibility with this cat anymore.
I'm just
I can't
kidding.
tell him nothing.
I'm just kidding.
I never had any.
I like busted balls. Anytime anyone recommends something and I don't like it, I just like giving them the business.
You need to get into Outer Banks.
Okay, I will. I'll give it a try. I am looking to. The people, I did a fun thing on Twitter last night. I said I'm in the mood to watch a comedy. If I get 2 repeats of a list, you guys put in the comment section. I'll watch it. And Step Brothers came up twice at first. So I ended up watching Step Brothers. I've seen it so many times though.
Yeah. Do you enjoy it? Was it a good call?
I mean, there's parts that I love. There's parts I scanned a few parts that I'm over. I like the part when they're singing in the car, "Sweet Child of Mine." You've seen that before, right?
Oh yeah.
Tell me if you like The Gentleman. If you jump on a movie,
I will. I'll watch that. I'll watch it tonight. I'll go to bed to it.
that came out of nowhere. I just looked at the ratings on it. I was like, well, what is this The Gentleman? Hadn't heard of it. And I'm like, it's got pretty good ratings. I think it was like a 92% on the popcorn thing.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, it was Matthew McConaughey. I'm like, let's see what happens. And took the ride, and I was like going, okay, I was glad I did. And then a lot of people today were like, oh my gosh, I've watched it over and over again. There's a lot of good comments about that.
You a McConaughey fan?
Hey, I do like him. He's a likable dude.
He's likable, man.
Did you see the
I did.
video that he did for 4th of July?
I did. Did you see that, Virginia?
No.
He was basically giving everyone a pep talk to the country, but he was also saying, "God, wear those masks now."
He's just got that style. You know, there's just something about Matthew McConaughey.
Even though he's young or relatively young, he's like old and wise.
At
He's
least
like an old, wise Southern man.
That's how he tries to appear, at least.
I'm buying it.
Yeah, here's, I think I got some of the video for you.
Happy 244th birthday, America. We is going through some growing pains on this one, aren't we? Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. It is hotter in more ways than one. But growing pains are a good thing because how the hell else are we going to grow up? I think we got to look each other in the eye. I think we got to look ourselves in the eye. We got to look in the mirror and ask ourselves, how can I be better? How can I expect more of myself and others? How can I be more responsible? How can I have more compassion? How can I have more courage? How can I be more fair? How do I make sure I wear the damn mask? We individually make these changes. That's how we make a collective change. That's how we get to next year's birthday and birthdays beyond that. And we start partying again. Looking around and saying, oh, yeah, we always got work to do. We never arrive. But we improved. That's our chance. That's our opportunity. That's on me. That's on you. It's game time. Ding, ding. We are in the ring, America. Let's quit messing about and get it done. Just keep living.
So what do you think the comments were on that? It was half and half. Half were like, I love Matthew McConaughey. The other half, fucking so sick of actors trying to tell us how to live our lives.
Stop telling me how to live my life, Matthew.
Celebrities need to shut the fuck up. I mean, that there's a big theme of that, too, out there.
I loved it. I'd vote for the dude for president.
Uh-oh. Is he in it too now?
I wish he would. I think I'd vote for Matthew McConaughey. He's just got that. I love his style.
How does that work? If you are at like a Kanye and you're trying to run, how do you get on the bill? Or how do you get on the ballot? You have to write it in, or how does that work?
Well, you know, I watched the documentary on Donald Trump with it, and he dabbled with it. In fact, you know, he kind of jumped in the ring, third party kind of thing. And after that, what they'd said basically in the documentary with Donald Trump, he's like, he realized if you're not in one of the two main parties, you can't win president. It's just not going to happen. We're just not set up for that. I mean, the only thing I could see is if like a Jeff Bezos backed you and threw $500 million at you or whatever.
But it'd have to be
it
an
is.
unprecedented kind of a thing that no one's ever seen before.
Right. It just, as pretty much it is right now, it's standard that if you're not Democrat or Republican, you ain't going to be president. So you can go in there and put on a dog and pony show and whatever and try to make a run at it, but
well, I just remember
it's
back,
not going to happen.
Back in the day, Gary Coleman was on the ballot for the governor of California.
And you're going to probably start seeing this more and more with the Kanyes, and who knows who else is going to jump into the ring. Just, you know, because what it does, people start talking about it. It's a great, easy way to get people to talk about you, to say that I'm going to run for president. But I mean, you know, come on. There's no legitimacy to any of these things. And like I said, the thing with Kanye, he ain't even registered yet. You got to go through the proper channels, and he hadn't even done that. So, I mean, is he going to go any more of this? I don't know.
I just want to know when you're going to make your bid. Not for presidency, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah.
But do you see if you did try to get into politics, would it be the mayor of West Palm in the future?
I don't even know.
Okay, I thought I know,
I
Virginia.
don't even know. I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Oh, man.
I don't know where I go with it.
That would be something.
The future is wide open.
The future's wide open.
Just know if you're running for anything, you're taking us with you. It's part of the deal.
Okay, well.
Yeah, there's going to be a scandal.
Okay.
We go through this every time we
look
talk.
at you. No doubt there's going to be a scandal.
Your cabinet's a mess.
You're part of this cabinet, too, and you might be part of this scandal.
I'm the messiest.
Other suggestions, the series Hannibal, and then related movies, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and Red Dragon. That's from Amanda, and there was a couple of suggestions for that. There's another movie called Hannibal Rising, but I haven't watched that one yet. Been on a Hannibal kick for the last couple of weeks, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. With his love of murder, Jaybird would enjoy it too.
I do love the original Silence of the Lambs. That's a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
We did our horror movie club on Saturday, and quite a bit of people seemed to have watched it with us.
Murder Club?
Yeah, the Murder Club. We watched Poltergeist. Denny's wife, Jen, had never seen it before.
That's a solid one.
That is a solid movie, man.
She like it?
She liked it, yeah. She did. She liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she thought it was as scary as, because a lot of people in the comment section say, "Oh, it's a scary one," which there are scary parts. I can't believe that was originally a PG movie.
Which one?
Poltergeist.
Yeah, I know, right? It was before they did the PG-13s.
That the part where that tree eats Sweet Robbie? That shit's messed up, man. Imagine a tree eating your ass when you're a kid.
That ain't PG.
Hell no. When that guy's eating maggot chicken?
We all watched that too. I know I was young when I saw Poltergeist, and it rocked my world.
Yeah, I actually like that entire franchise. It's part 2 and part 3. Shitty movies for most people, but I like them.
Got another suggestion for Dr. Sleep, a sequel to The Shining with Ewan McGregor on HBO. I recommend. I thought it was really good. Also a tip, if you already have HBO through your TV provider, HBO Max is technically free. It is replacing the HBO Go. The show I recommend is Dark. They just released season 3 on Netflix. I'll be binging soon. It's about a kid that time travels and what happens to him. It's a really good show, and it keeps you guessing. Elena sent that.
Yeah, it's pretty cozy when you know you have a whole series to go through.
Yeah.
HBO. There's some old ones that are very much worth going and checking out on HBO.
Let me see. Scary. It's about night terrors.
I've heard of that.
Also, a comedy drama, The Little Death. Definitely not for the easily offended, about sexual fetishes. These are probably best suited for Bird, but Kevin might possibly like the sick humor in The Little Death. So thank you for that. A couple of suggestions there.
Huh. A fetish program.
Apparently so. Yeah.
We all got a fetish, Virginia, whether you want to admit it or not.
Some of us have more than others in our fetish drawer.
I would agree with that, and I think people get freaked out by the term fetish. Fetish just means something that's a little outside the normal.
I got into on Netflix. They have it. It's World War II. I think they brought to full color.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't jumped in that, there were a couple things that, I did, probably know about World War II, and I've seen a lot of specials on it, but there are a couple things that kind of jumped out to me. One was, the Hitler, the Nazis, all that kind of stuff. When they did this whole thing, the Blitzkrieg, because they'd fought World War I and nobody got anywhere in that, Virginia. They were all just dug in trenches, nobody moved. So when Hitler got it together, they went fast, called the Blitzkrieg. Maybe you've heard that term.
Yeah.
They gave their soldiers fucking crystal meth and then sent them and said, go get Belgium. And they went, for 3 days straight. These German soldiers were just sprinting on crystal meth, and they didn't stop. And apparently you could get it over the counter in Germany. And so they're just like, they kept feeding them crystal meth. But by the end of it, you get a little bit weird. So, and they said one of the side effects of taking too much crystal meth is you lose your empathy.
Oh, geez.
Which they said was perfect because they had these jacked up dudes who didn't feel any sympathy for anybody.
Dang.
Right. That was kind of a footnote that I took out of that. I was like, I've never
Killing
seen
a
that
soldier.
before. Oh, my God.
Oh, there's a ton of stuff.
Can you imagine a country of people whacked out on crystal meth charging at you?
With no
tanks?
empathy?
There's no empathy?
There's a ton of factoids like that when it comes to that.
That's horrifying.
I know, it is.
Dang.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, that's scary on any level.
I didn't realize crystal meth was that old.
Yeah. It was, it wasn't called crystal meth. It had kind of like an over-the-counter thing, but you could, go get Tic Tacs or crystal meth, whatever you chose.
Well, how crazy is it to think that back in the day here in the States, you could get Coca-Cola with cocaine in it? I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, there were some crazy things that they used to have where they started controlling all those substances.
Imagine society today where you could go buy a soda with cocaine in it legally and just having people out there.
A cocaine drink.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know, man.
It certainly would have kicked up the 4th of July.
Yeah, I just feel like there'd be a lot of fighting.
Yeah, but that's something you can check out. And then I watched Midway, which got one of the Jonas Brothers in it. It's about the Battle of Midway, so it's all World War II stuff. So I did that over the weekend.
Why the Jonas Brother in there?
He had a role. He's an actor.
Oh, okay. It wasn't a documentary. It was an actual.
Yeah, it's a movie called Midway about that battle. And got a fun one here, a little levity. Said a couple of weeks ago, I let my 12-year-old son listen to the beginning of the ATS podcast because the teaser you gave at the end of the regular show was perfect juvenile humor for him. He grew up listening to y'all with me from the day he was born.
Oh, boy.
And he loved it when you replaced one word from movie titles with the word butthole. He has his own suggestion as well, Night of the Living Buttholes. Thank you for making both of us laugh. Love you guys. Yeah.
That's awesome. The kids.
Yeah,
We do it for the kids.
Butthole jokes are great.
They are a lot of fun. So there you go. Thanks for the emails. Send them to us anytime. Mail@kvjshow.com. mail@kvjshow.com. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.